Federal Ministry of Education has announced a major change to admission requirements for Nigerian tertiary institutions. Senior secondary school students in arts and humanities will no longer need a credit in mathematics to secure admission into universities and polytechnics. For years, admission seekers across all fields are required to have 5 credits, including English and mathematics, in WAEC or NECO. Under the new policy, arts and humanities students will only need credits in relevant subjects and English. According to the ministry, the revised national guidelines aim to remove barriers while maintaining academic standards. Mathematics remains compulsory for science, technology, and social science programs. At the polytechnic level, math is required only for science-related courses, while arts students need 4 credits, including English. Colleges of education will also adopt similar subject-based entry criteria. Education Minister Dr. Tunji Alausa said the reform is a deliberate effort to expand access to tertiary education. Analysts have described the move as a brilliant reform that will ease entry into higher institutions for students. The new framework applies to universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, and innovation enterprise academies nationwide. You know, for many years, when you start schooling, people usually say for critical thinking, you need to learn math. What do you think this new change in curricula for entry into tertiary institution, what do you think this would mean for us in these times? Let me get your thoughts on it.
Well, I mean, I'm sure people have different reactions to this, but I wouldn't say I'm completely against it.
Okay.
Right? Because I feel like at the end of the day, I mean, mathematics is very important, especially when it comes to critical thinking. It helps. It's more analytical. I mean, for the basic and foundational stage, which is quite important for IQ development of our growing youth like this. So, in as much as I think that is the case, I still understand that okay, for for tertiary institutions where at that point, people want to focus or specialize, right? Those that want to focus on science should focus on science. And of course, the criteria, it's okay for the criteria to be different because, I mean, sciences need more analytical and mathematical strength, and maybe humanities and arts need more of, we could say, more of literary strength and yeah, all of that. So I kind of agree with it. But on the other hand, I also feel like it might dampen the quality of our educational system. Again, I'm not going to say it's bad or it's good completely, but I feel like mathematics is, like I said, is an analytical course that helps people think more critically. And back we have always had this level of education that people strive for. And at the end of the day, even as people strive for these things, they find out that it's not as hard as it is. I mean, I even personally, my first degree is in pure and applied mathematics. It wasn't a choice.
You have a degree in mathematics?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. It wasn't the first choice, but at the end of the day, I learned to love it, and it didn't seem as difficult as we thought growing up. I mean, growing up, people are always like, when you see mathematics, oh, it's we're scared and all of that. So even now, I do tell kids, that it's not really as hard as people make it seem, right? What makes mathematics a bit hard is if the foundation is not so good. If the foundation is good and it's well integrated in the system properly, you find out that it's not as hard as it is. So I mean, not to digress much, I feel like it might dampen our quality a bit, but at the end of the day, like I said, since students have to be focusing on specialized areas, I think it might be okay to drop that for humanities and arts.
Right.
But while we are doing all of this, let's not forget the big fish in the whole, in the sea, which is the quality of the system itself. I mean, I think ASU is still I don't know if the strike is ongoing,
Oh, the strike is
but
currently
ASU is threatening
ongoing.
serious.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, so all of these nice policies, all of these things we are coming up with means nothing if the system itself is very porous as it is.
Right.
Who are the lecturers that are even going to take these things? You know, some schools have leaking ceilings. Some schools do not have good power. Some schools do not have good security. There's more to. I'm not like I always say on the show. It's not about always trying to antagonize the government or the things they do. But let's also look at the broader picture. There are things that are more important than others. You know, Strike is ongoing. The government is saying they are not going to pay for. I mean, I saw a report. The government saying they are not going to pay for job not done. Then I asked myself, are they talking about this same thing that ASU has been asking for decades? So in as much as it's an okay policy to bring up, let's not forget the big things that are going on. The
Great.
quality of education in itself, the kind of lecturers we have, the infrastructure for educational systems at this point. Are we on
Right.
par?
Right.
The world is moving towards AI and tech. Are we
Exactly
going to
where I
keep
wanted
up
to,
with
come into you with my next line of thought is the world is moving towards AI. And if you have, you studied mathematics, and if you have learned anything around what is currently going on, or for example, a basic tool like Excel, you need to know some level of math, and that is not even industry centric, right? A tool like Excel, if you know the average ifs, the sum ifs, and all of those, you need to at least have an idea or some form of, a little bit of mathematical background. With this announcement, and given how much children fight with wanting to study math and the disinterest, you mentioned how, you usually thought it was harder when you were in your lower grades till you got to the university and found out that, okay, this is actually something I can eventually enjoy doing. Imagine how children, the phobia many kids have for math right now in Nigeria. Do you think that this announcement, as it were, will give us more people trying to build towards science or more people running into arts? That's on one hand. On the other hand, because the world is diving deeply into technology, you know that with machine learning and AI systems, you need to understand there's still a mathematics background to it for you to understand it, right? Do you think that, removing these students completely from it is going to do more harm than good when you look at it with where the world is headed currently?
Well, at the end of the day, even life in itself, has been always by choice. The things, the actions we take, are, by choice,
Right.
our choices. So I feel like this whole new policy is all about choice, because
Okay.
more harm than good. I wouldn't say it's going to harm, because at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be a thing of everybody's going to move towards arts. Definitely, there are still kids that will still lean towards their, sciences. I mean, the doctors, the physicists, the biologists are still going to do the mathematics. I just feel like this just makes it much more, mm, will I say, lenient and diversifiable for kids, right? There are some kids, to be honest, not it's just like, how do I explain it without me? Rather than just throwing everybody in a basket, why not allow them to lean towards their strengths more, which might help us. I get that it might seem like, oh, people might run away from it, but at the end of the day, you'll find out that people might not really run away from it. Rather, would have a situation where people will lean towards their strengths more. And for those that want to challenge themselves, of course, that's why it's going to be a choice. It's not a matter of, oh, you must not or you must. The fact is, oh, if you want to do sciences, you do mathematics, of course, and if you are an art, the fact that you don't do, or you would do rather, the basic mathematics. I mean, that's still going to be in curriculum, from the primary down to, um, I think the GSS 3, right? You will still do mathematics. So the
Right.
foundational part of it is still there. But when you go into your SS class, where you are choosing, arts or sciences rather, all that, you can now, focus on, the courses that would lean more towards your dreams as a growing kid and your aspirations. So I think it's okay. And as far as we know, tech is mathematically inclined. If you ask me, it's analytical. If you are going into data analysis, data entry,
Right.
um, data basically cloud and all these things. Obviously, that is computer science. Science.
But
So
but but
you
then
have to
again,
do mathematics.
Kolawole, when you look at the way many people in humanities and certain people even in social sciences currently that have gone through the university, as it were, are out here looking for jobs, right, are not finding jobs. And many people are navigating now into tech, getting to try to bring, old skills as regards resilience, trying to adapt to, what the world is actually looking for. Because with AI, there's certain skill sets that you might have that AI is going to disband it in real time. Even if when you look at it as regards the way it's going on social media just now, you can take a picture of your face, and all of a sudden you wear just now you'll be putting on a very nice suit, and that has been trending for a while with Nano Banana and all these other machine learning and AI devices that are currently building, and more of these tools are going to come. But when you look at it as regards many people in arts, many people, in humanities, many people in social sciences, which I personally have encountered on platforms like LinkedIn, tilting a little bit towards tech. Do you think that there are opportunities that are bound in these areas, but people still tilt? And now the tilting people using, saying, okay, let me learn tech. Don't you think it comes more from the knowledge of which they've been able to gather from, being interested in mathematics, not having this leeway, even when people are not interested in math, the thought that I cannot get into the university if I don't have math and English, no matter what I get, made people to want to study it more. As regards to taking off that clause completely, you don't think it's going to act fully as a form of demoralizer? And also, because of opportunities, and looking at where we are as Nigerians, everybody's trying to tilt into something else because the labor market is a little saturated.
I think very fair point, to be honest, very fair. And but we are just speaking more in line with the system education, as it pertains to Nigeria. But if you look at it broadly now, there's a saying, you cannot give what you don't have.
Right.
And why I say that, why I'm putting out that, why I'm putting that out is because let's look at Nigeria currently, right? In as much as the world is moving towards tech and AI, what is our educational system? What is the reaction of our educational system to tech and AI, right? So at the end of the day, it's more about we are literally giving what we have. And why? How do I explain this? So now we have an educational system, and to be honest, we are not really embracing tech into our systems. I mean, if you still go if you go to tertiary institutions in Nigeria and check out tertiary institutions in Western societies, you find out that there are some programs you don't see here. I mean, you could literally study AI, right? In some schools in the West, you can't find that here. So we are literally working with what we have. And to be honest, I understand when you say maths and English was compulsory and it pushed people to understand the analytical part and all of that. Yeah, I completely even agree with that. But even with all of that, you know, speaking for myself, I mean, I studied maths. When I graduated from the university, what next? You know, my opportunities were kind of limited, right? In the space of Nigeria. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Right.
So if you want to even put out the AI and tech clause, at the end of the day, we still have to go and do the extra work of trying to educate ourselves more in this field we want to educate ourselves in. For example, I have to take more courses in website development and programming, to be able to compete on a much more global scale. So we don't have a system that embraces these things into the curriculums. If not, I would have said, oh, it's a really bad idea. So it has always been this way where we have to still re-educate ourselves. I mean, there are students. Mathematics was a course that was literally combined with computer science. I mean, we switched to mathematics completely in level 300. Back
Right.
then, we were doing coding on the board because we had laptops and I mean we had we had a computer room, if I remember clearly, but it wasn't really functional. So you get where I'm coming from, right? So
Right.
in as much as we were even doing the mathematics and all, we still do not have, or we did not even have all the practical, equipment and practical knowledge to work with. So that's why I'm even still literally saying let's just lean more towards our strength. At the end of the day, I still tell kids right now growing up that as you're going to school, don't forget to take extra programs. Don't forget to keep your eyes and ears open, right?
Right.
If for example you are someone that is interested in arts and humanities, along the way you might be swayed by AI, and it's never too late to begin to learn, right?
Right.
It's never too late to begin to figure out how to get into cloud engineering and all of that. But this in itself will just help for those that want to be writers, actors, humanities and all of that. They can just focus on what they're doing. And for those that want to go into mathematics and sciences, they
Right.
can do that and also switch along the way. I mean, the sky is not really the limit now. I mean, it's just the starting point.